Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Meet Derrick Jayden. I don't have his photo because his Facebook page and our original chat are long gone. Derrick introduced himself to Celia back in July. I don't know what he said in Facebook, but obviously they moved to Hangouts. "Hi," he said, "it's Derrick. Got you. Can I hear your voice if it's okay with you?" "You mean you want to call me on Hangouts?" said Celia. "Yeah." So he tried calling her, but they couldn't hear each other. He tried again. "Still can't hear you," said Celia. "Allay," he said, thus giving away the fact that he was 100% definitely a scammer. "What?" asked Celia. "Send me your number," he said. "What number?" asked Celia. "Try calling me on Facebook." "Cell phone number," he said. "I don't give that to people I don't know," said Celia. "I don't use Messenger," he said. "You do," she said. "You were talking to me on there just a few minutes ago." "I will install it," he said, because actually he didn't have Messenger installed on his phone, just Facebook Lite. "I will call you on Messenger now," he said. "OK," said Celia. That was on July the 10th. Our man disappeared and wasn't heard of again until he popped up, again, on August the 28th. "Hey," he said. "Hi," said Celia. "I don't remember who you are." So he called her. "I can't hear you," she said. "Signal is bad," he tried. And then, for no good reason at all, as scammers do, randomly sent her a photo. "It's Derrick," he said. And then he thought he'd call Celia. I'm afraid I found him very hard to understand.
Hello, Celia.
Oh, there you are. Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Remind me who you are. It's a long time since we spoke.
Yeah, I haven't been on Anger, so I just installed it and decided to message you. I'm gonna send you my pics.
Okay. But remind me who you are. What do you do? Where are you?
From Facebook.
Yes, I know you're on Facebook, but what do you do for a living? Where do you live?
Oh, like what I do, I'm an alphabet weather.
You're a what? Sorry, say that again.
An alphabet weather.
A what?
Yeah, I'm currently at Scotland. What about you?
Oh, you're in Scotland.
Yeah. What about you?
I
Where
live
you are?
I live in Durham. Where do you come from?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, I'm from Tulare, Spain.
Oh, you're Spanish. Okay. And what are you doing in
Yeah,
What are you doing in Scotland?
I'm working here.
Yes, I know, but what do you do?
I said I'm working here. I'm working on the water. I'm like on the water.
Working on what? Sorry, I can't hear you very well.
I work in the water. At the reef.
You work in the water.
Yeah,
What do you
I'm
do?
at the reef.
You're on a rig.
Yeah.
You're on an oil rig.
No, not an oil rig.
What kind of rig then?
Like I'm aware that I do wet pipe on the water.
You do what on the water?
I wet pipe under the water.
You work under the water.
I wet pipe under the water.
You work 5 under the water.
I'm gonna text you.
Yeah,
So you
I
can
think you
come
better.
back.
Yeah. It was hard to hear you, said Celia. Tell me what you do. I said I'm welding pipe underwater. Hyperbaric welder, he said. What about you? Oh, OK, said Celia. I work in the admissions department of our university. Where in Scotland are you? Can I see your pics? He said. Can't you see the one on Facebook? Asked Celia. I don't send photos to people I don't know. Delaware, he said. I understand you. You do have trust issues a lot. I can't imagine why she wouldn't trust you, mate. What about Delaware? Asked Celia. And then, completely randomly, he started his story. Well, I'm a contractor. I work with KCADEUTAG over here in Scotland. My job is risky, but the pay is huge. Wish I will be getting this job done in a month's time and be back in the state as well. You haven't told me what you meant by Delaware, she said. And remember, when he called her, he told her he was from Spain. "It's a place in Scotland," he said. "I've never heard of it," said Celia. "Where in Scotland?" "Check on the map," he said. You have to admire the misplaced confidence of some of these geographically challenged scammers. "I have," said Celia, "and I can't see it. So why don't you tell me where it is? Show it to me on the map." "I meant to say Delaware, United States," he said. "What's that got to do with anything?" said Celia. "I asked where you are in Scotland." There's only so much that Google Maps can actually do for you if you don't know where Scotland is. "Seaford," he said. For those of you that aren't from the UK, Seaford is on the south coast of England. "Where's that in Scotland?" asked Celia. "You're just making me get confused," he said. "I thought you were asking about Delaware." "OK," said Celia. "Let's try again. Where are you in Scotland?" "Shetland," he said. "How lovely," said Celia. "Where in Shetland?" Google felt it needed to help our man out. "What country do the Shetland Islands belong to?" he asked it. "Scotland," replied Google. And then he sent her the photo that she uses on Facebook, helpfully adding, "That's you," just in case she'd forgotten who she was. "You ask a lot of questions," he said. "You don't trust anyone. That's not good." "Yes, I know what I look like," said Celia. "And yes, you already told me that Shetland is in Scotland. I asked you where you are in Shetland. I love Shetland. I've been there a few times." Whoops! But Google Maps helped him out. "Sunborough," he said. "Are you offshore or on land?" asked Celia. "Offshore," he said. "How long have you been there?" she asked. 5 months. "Have you had a chance to do any sightseeing?" she said. "Shetland is beautiful, isn't it?" "Yes, it is," he said. "I'm always at the rig." "But you must get shore leave," said Celia. "How far offshore are you?" 170 kilometres, he said. "That's a long way," said Celia. "I don't think I'd like that." "I know," he said. "I don't have a choice. My pay is very large." "That's good," said Celia, not really caring about the size of his pay. "How much longer do you have to stay there?" she asked. 2 months, he said. "I know why you ask this much question." "Where will you go next?" she asked, cross-posting with him. "I've been working for the university for 20 years. "To the state," he said, "thinking of buying a home." "I'm asking questions," she said, "because I'm interested to know about you." "OK, I won't ask any more. You just tell me what you want to tell me." "Have you dated online before?" he asked. "We aren't doing questions, remember?" said Celia. "You don't like questions, and I'm not dating you, am I?" "I do like question," he said. "Make up your mind," said Celia. "But we should know more about each other," he replied. "That's what I was trying to do," said Celia. "I really want to know more about you," he said. "Really? I didn't know." "Oh," she said, "one-sided. You want to know about me, but don't want to tell me about yourself." "We would know more about each other," he said. "Let's talk about another thing." "I think that's a good idea, mate. Let's change the subject." "Have you dated online?" he asked. "How is that any of your business?" said Celia. "Have you dated online?" "No, I haven't," he said. "I don't think I'd want to date someone I can't meet," said Celia. "But I love Shetland, so if you'd like to meet, I could come for a holiday." "Oh, whoops, help, panic." Or, as he put it, "I would love that, but you know I'm at the rig. You can't come here." "You must be allowed shore leave," said Celia. "All rig workers get shore leave, don't they?" "Well, I don't know," because our man disappeared for a while. "How are you doing?" he said a few hours later. "I just did some cleaning and had lunch," said Celia. "So, tell me something about yourself." "I'm 55 and I have a grown-up son who lives in Australia with his girlfriend." "I'm 56, he said, with 2 kids who live with me." "Your kids are living on the rig with you?" asked Celia. "When I talked to you, you said you aren't on an oil rig. What kind of rig is it?" "My kids is with their nanny," he said. "You said, if I'm an oil rig worker." I said, "No, I'm a hyperbaric welder." "I've not heard of a hyperbaric welder," said Celia. "What do you do?" "I weld pipe under water," he said. "OK, said Celia. What does hyperbaric mean? And when you're stuck for an answer, you can always rely on your trusty friendly search engine. Google answered the question. Hyperbaric welding, it said. Hyperbaric welding is the process of welding at elevated pressures, normally underwater. Hyperbaric welding can either take place wet, in the water itself, or dry, inside a specially constructed positive pressure enclosure, and hence a dry environment. That's my job, he said. What's the time over there? Our man in Shetland asked our woman in northeast England. Over where? asked Celia. Your time now, he said. Don't you even remember where I told you I live? She said. Did you tell me? He asked. Yes, Durham. I think I told you when you called me, she said. Oh, in North Carolina, right? He said. No, said Celia, in England. It's in the northeast of England, near Newcastle. And then seamlessly, and before you even know it, he's going to move in for the kill. Oh, OK, he said. Do you have other friends on here? On Hangouts, said Celia. Lots of my friends use Hangouts. Don't yours? Why? Do you need help using it? It really? So what network provider do you use? He asked. BT, she said. What do you use? Also, he added, what I use as my service provider to communicate with you, because communication matters a lot in a relationship. It's Steam card. Wish I can't get any over here in the ocean. That's what I use to communicate with you. I never thought I will talk to someone online. If not, I would have getting much available, so I'll be needing that so I can be able to text as well. Just been open to you. So if this shut off, you won't think I'm stopped talking. I didn't understand that, said Celia. Which provider do you use? I just have 97% left before this gets shut off. You can maybe help me out as a friend, get me in Walmart or Walgreen. I use Steam card. What are you talking about? Said Celia. Steam card isn't an internet provider, and you're in Scotland. Where on earth would you find a Walmart or Walgreen in Scotland? I really don't, you know, honey, he said. But in case I'm not on here and haven't replied, you don't have to think I didn't want to talk to you, but because I've run out of credit. Yes, I'm in Scotland, he said. You're online, said Celia. Just go on your service provider's website and top up. It doesn't work that way, he said, because I don't have a bank card or my credit card. I lost my wallet with my cards inside, so I decided to put my account on hold since I was away. So I can't really do anything online without my cards, and my account is on hold. That's a shame, said Celia. How long have you been on the rig? It's been 2 months now, he said. Still got a month and 3 weeks remaining. And you're on 97%, said Celia. You've only used 3% in 2 months, so you should be fine for another 7 weeks, so stop worrying about it. Any moment from now I would be exhausted, he said. This works differently. Obviously, said Celia. You said you had 97% left. Didn't they teach you maths at school? We have some good courses for adults at the uni here that you can enrol on. I understand, but what I'm saying is when it's 97%, it only lasts 3 days. It works differently while I'm on here at work. Obviously, mate. That doesn't make sense, does it? Said Celia. If you have 97% left, you've used 3%. If you use 3% in 2 months, that means you'll use at most another 3% in the next 2 months, which will take you to 94%. So you have plenty left, and you still haven't told me which network you use. I've used 97%, he said. It's remaining 3%. I don't use network. I use Steam card, and you can't understand me. At last, he got something right. That's not what you said before, she said. You said I just have 97% left, and you must use a network. Steam card isn't a phone network provider. I made a mistake, he said. Wanted to say I used 97%. And that's what I use here. It's your choice to believe, because it seems you don't believe me. That's a strange thing to say, said Celia. I'm trying to understand what you're talking about. We both know Steam card isn't a phone service provider. The only reason you'd immediately think I don't believe you would be because you aren't telling me the truth, which makes me very suspicious. And do you remember telling me this, she said, sending him a screenshot of a bit where she'd asked him, how long have you been there? And he'd said, 5 months. Really? He replied. I guess it's hard to remember how long you've been on an oil rig, said Celia. I had someone to send me subscriptions since then, he said, and not any more. So she sent him a screenshot of the bit where she'd just asked him, how long have you been on the rig? And he'd said, it's been 2 months now. Go away, she said, you're just a liar. If you say so, he replied, and disappeared. If the person that you're talking to online keeps telling you inconsistent stories, one moment they say one thing and then a few days later they say something different, don't try asking them to explain the difference. They'll always come up with a story. But just ask yourself, are they telling you the truth, or are they just making the whole thing up? In fact, are you talking to a scammer? I've had people say to me, I thought I was talking to a scammer, so I asked them if they were telling me the truth. And they said yes, they were. Well, of course they're going to tell you that. It's not a question you should even ask them. You need to make your own decisions. If what they're telling you isn't consistent, why do you think that is? Is it perhaps because they're making it up and they've simply forgotten what they told you? I hope you found this video useful. If you'd like to support my channel by buying me a cuppa, head over to buymeacoffee.com/romancescammers. The link's in the description box below. Meanwhile, do give this video a thumbs up, please share it, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again in another video.